What's up, Pre-Calc? I'm your man, Steve Harvey. We got a great show for you today. All right, I'm not Steve Harvey, but you can get some good laughs if you want to watch some of that. All right, so we're going to solve some equations. They got logs in them. Sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not good. All right, and here's the bottom line. Anytime it's log of x, we can't solve it this way. It needs to be changed. So here's what we're going to do. You can draw your L-shaped box on there. 4 to the third equals x. All right, so that's what, 64? All right, double check that if you need to. Here we go. We got 1/3 to the negative second. 1/3 to the negative second equals x. All right, so that means I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to square it. So I believe that's going to be 9. Okay, so it's all about what's happening here. It's the type of problem we have. If it says log of x, all right, it needs changed. Needs changed. All right, now the next one, you can make this happen to problems. Sorry, I thought I was going to fall over here. But if you have log base 4 and log base 4, if these match, we're just going to eliminate those. So you have x plus 5 equals 11 minus x. All right, and then we can go the whole way back to algebra 1. We're working on this, right? So you're going to add the x, so you got 2x. You're going to subtract the 5, you got 6. X equals 3. All right, over here, before I can drop those, I do have to make this to 2 to the 5th. So 2 to the 5th. Now I'm going to drop these while I'm in process, x minus 12. So 2 to the 5th, let me just double check. I don't want to mess that up. 2 to the 5th is going to be 32. And we're going to add that 12 over. Okay, so if you happen to have log exact same base, then we can deal with it. I just can't get comfortable today, guys. Sorry. Okay, x equals 44. All right, now, technique 3, okay, you have multiple logs, and we are trying to get all this stuff put together. So we have a couple things we can do with it. Notice that the bases all match. So that's going to be key number 1. If that happens, that means we can continue and move on here. And what we're going to do is we got to combine those into a single log. So what we have is log of x minus log of 5. So those need divided. So log of x over 5, log base 2, equals log base 2 of 125. Now I have the same base, so guess what? We're going to drop them. So x over 5 equals 125. And to finish that out, x is being divided by 5, so we're going to multiply it by 5. So x turns out to be 125 times 5. All right, 625. All right, so in our second one here, ooh, I like that. We're going to put these together. So if you get the idea, remember these are going to be multiplied. So it's 6x, drop in the base equals 24, divide by 6. So x turns out to be 4. So all those log properties we've been working on, instead of watching Family Feud with Steve Harvey, is going to come in handy here. All right, so what else we got here? So we got a couple more of the same thing. Okay, we have log base, log base, log base. So I know those go together. It's, almost wrote x over 8, but it should be 8 over x, right? And this is equal to 24. You could say it's over 1, right? So remember, you're going to cross multiply when you have that variable in the denominator. That's the easiest way to remember it. Or you have to multiply by x. It does the same thing. So 24x equals 8 divided by 24. So x reduces into 1/3 to get us our final answer. All right, looks like there's a typo in the last one, right? Nah, we can still solve it though, but this one doesn't have log base 3. So what are you going to do? You're going to change it out. So let's go ahead and put all this stuff together. So I got 3 squared. It's going to be multiplied by x. I'm going to make this log base 3 of 9x, and it equals 4. All right, so notice what I couldn't do. I couldn't just cross that stuff out. So now I'm going to combine technique number 1 and technique number 3. So now I have 9x equals 3 to the 4th power. Okay, so 3 to the 4th power, I think that's 81. Let me just double check here. 3 to the 4th, yeah, 81. So 9x equals 81 divided by 9. So x equals 9 in the end. Okay, so if you have log of x, if you have bases all over the place, then we can combine them and drop the bases. If you don't, we're going to use that L-shaped shortcut I've been talking about as we transition those. So log of x needs to be changed one way or the other. Now, I knew there weren't going to be enough of those, so I grabbed a couple more. I hope they're pretty close to what we're talking about. All right, so here we go. Oh my goodness. Now this one doesn't have a base at all. Remember, no base means a base of 10. Okay, so that means 10 squared equals x squared. So we're going to take the square root. So x equals 10. Okay. So that's not too bad. And the other one I want to make sure I threw in here was a natural log, because remember that means the base would be e. All right, so not really proper to write it in, but I just want to put it in there so you can see it again, because that's why some people don't believe in magic, because seeing is believing, and you can't tell what's happening in magic. But what we'd like to do is I want to get this all by itself. So I have a couple choices. I can add 3. So I get 2 natural log of x minus 1 equals 8. Now, at this point, I could say that I'm going to make this squared, which would be awful, or I can divide it by 2, which is a much better idea. Now, keep in mind, we'll get the answer either way, but dividing this 2 out instead of making an exponent, that's a choice that you have. So let's make good choices. So natural log of x minus 1 equals 4. So now we're going to get it down, right? Now at this point, I have log or natural log of x. I don't have log or natural log on the other side, so I can't just drop those. So we're going to have to deal with it this way. So temporarily, I'm going to write an e in here again. So I get e to the 4th power equals x minus 1. And then we're just going to add 1 to that. Okay, so we're going to go calculator e to the 4th and then add 1 to that answer. That's going to give us x. And let me grab it here. The e to the 4th. And so final answer, we got x equals 55.598. It's a 1 after that, so we're in good shape there. All right, so if we got that to work, that'll work as well. So 3 ideas that we had here today. Quick recap. Technique 1, log of x, we got to change it. If you have log on both sides, as long as they are the same base, we can drop those and solve. If you have multiple, we need to put them together. First, you can drop them and solve. Otherwise, we apply technique number 1 to it. And same thing here. We want to try and get that log of x all by itself, so there's only 1, and get rid of any extra stuff that we want to do. All right, I know what you're thinking. There's no way that's the same thing. So let me go a quick tangent here, because I don't think I've talked way too much here. I don't know, you'll tell me in class. So let me do this. So if I go and do this and then change it, okay, so I get e to the 8th equals x minus 1 squared. Now, my hope is that you will never, ever, ever try and FOIL this. So let's take the square root. So I'll get e to the 4th equals x minus 1, and then we're right back where we were. Okay, so no harm, no foul, but don't make the problem harder than it needs to be. So my recommendations is always going to be to divide that out, even if it's a decimal, because guess what? E itself is going to give you a decimal answer. So go ahead and divide it, even if it doesn't work very nicely. All right, hope you had a good time, and I'll see you next time we have a lesson.